Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Showbiz Side Hustle Podcast. I am your host here, Nicole Louise Geddes, founder of PerformerPreneur. We are 1 week away from the launch of the second edition of Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur collaboration book about when passion meets purpose. And in this episode, I'm pulling back the curtain on how this book actually came to be, including why it's a second edition and not the second book I had originally planned. And joining me to talk all things publishing is the brilliant Jo Wildsmith, our publishing queen, and the backbone of getting this edition out into the world with ease. From the original upload to navigating Amazon systems, Jo has made the whole process feel genuinely joyful. The book is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle from the 30th of June, and we need your help as we leap into our mission to once again reach the #1 bestseller top spot. And there's something else that I'm super excited to share. Spotlight on Success is also in the process of being listed by Jo for purchase from Waterstones. Yes, you heard that right. Keep everything crossed for us, ladies and gents, as I'm sure you'll agree if that were to happen, it would be a real pinch me moment. So let's get to it and welcome to the Spotlight, Jo Wildsmith. Welcome to the Spotlight series, where each week we meet one of the brilliant co-authors and creatives behind Spotlight on Success, the PerformerPreneur book that's redefining what success looks like both in and out of the showbiz spotlight. I'm your host here, Nicole Louise Geddes, and in these special episodes we learn even more about the stories behind the sequins. Raw, honest, powerful reminders that the end of one act is only the beginning of another. So listen in as we chat challenges and triumphs and inspire you to shine in any spotlight you like.
Thank you so much. Well, that was quite the introduction. Thank you. I really enjoyed that whole thing. And yes, you're absolutely right. We're not just plonking it on Amazon, not that we would ever plonk it anyway, but we're not just putting it on Amazon. We are putting it through what's called wide distribution. So it's going into more places, and hopefully we'll be able to get into libraries as well. So it's all extremely exciting. Quite a bit more work from our end, but it's worth every moment of it.
Jo, honestly, the team on my side of everything knows exactly how hard you've worked on this, and I'd love for the listeners to understand and appreciate that this process is not this creative whirlwind, or not only a creative whirlwind. It takes so much detail in the back end and in your side of things. You and Simon have been a dream team to work with once again. And you're right, like if we can get this book distributed across different platforms, in different places, in libraries, in bookstores, not just Amazon, then for me, that just helps me create more ripples. It gives me so much more joy that I can reach more people. And that's what a book does, right? It gets in the hands of the people that need it, and you're helping me do that, and I'm forever grateful.
Absolutely. And especially with a book like this, a multi-author book, a collaboration book, because there are so many people that need to hear all of these different stories that are inside the book. The 4 new ones especially, which are absolutely tremendous. They're wonderful, but also all of the original ones. And that's the thing with it being a second edition. It revitalizes, gets those first stories out there as well as these 4 new ones. From your point of view, Nicole, why do you think it was a good idea to do it as a second edition rather than a whole new book?
It's a good question, and it's a lovely story actually. And I think when I eventually came to the conclusion, I felt really comfortable and confident with my decision. But anyone that's been following PerformerPreneur and myself for the past year, they will know a good 9-10 months ago, I was saying second book. And at one point, I really felt that was the right way to go. But I'm a very intuitive person, and I like to listen to my internal kind of narrative, and there was something that just kept saying, this doesn't feel right. So I paused, and you came on the journey with me. I was like, just give me a minute. I just need to pause. I need to listen. I need to reflect. I need to understand why this isn't sitting comfortably with me. And ultimately, because of my values, I am such a collaborative, community-driven cheerleader that it just did not feel right to put one group of co-authors on a bookshelf and leave them there while I shout and celebrate and push a second group of brilliant people. They're equal, and the first cohort are so dear to me, as are everyone in my community. So, cut a long story short, I was really kind of tuning into what that uncomfortable feeling was, and it was exactly that. I did not want to pit one book against the other, and I have big plans for the co-authors, for the book, for Performerpreneur, for the spotlight shift, for all of this to create ripples across the industry and change the narrative that there are more than one ways to be successful. So it then became a second edition because four co-authors had already stepped forward before I'd made this decision. And again, I felt really aligned with the fact that they were already in. They didn't need any convincing. They were straight in after the first book. These four authors were like, I want in on this. I've got a story to tell. I love your message. I love the first book. So I was like, well, you know what happened next, Jo. I came to you and I said, look, we're scrapping the second book idea, horror, shock horror, but we're creating a second edition. And I explained my reasons and my values, and I'm so grateful. But you saw it, you heard it, you felt it too, and you was excited, and that means the world to me.
Absolutely. And the four authors that you've got, the four new stories that you've got fit, because anyone who knows the original book knows that there were the four sections in there, and it's just all slotted so perfectly into place. So how do you feel about the new stories that are in there? What's your take on it?
Exactly what you're saying. You know, when we set out on this process to write these chapters, I don't know what these lovely ladies' stories actually are. Like, I know of them, we work together, stalk everybody on social media. I know they're a nice fit. I know that they have my values, and they understand the mission, which is the ripple. But you don't know what they're going to produce at all. And you're right, every single story, one each, fits perfectly into each section, which is crazy. And the ladies have really given their heart and soul, as did the past cohort of guys and girls. They've just embraced the opportunity to go deeper than we all dare to think we're going to go. And they've done it. And even though they'd read the first edition, that didn't put them in a better position. Like, it probably made them feel even more vulnerable or, apprehensive about what they say and what they share. But the process got them to where they needed to be. And each one of them has just said how cathartic and wonderful the process has been. And the chapters, like you say, are just beautiful. They fit so seamlessly into the book and add another element, 4 new stories, 4 new journeys, 4 new spotlights. I can't ask for more than that.
That's amazing. But there's one more thing, actually. There is also something that wasn't in the first book, and that is there's a foreword. So, and this is quite a coup, really, the lady that you got to do the foreword. Very exciting. Tell me a bit more about that one, because I know who it is, but can you share it?
I can share it, Jo, and I've been holding it close to my chest for a long time. But if you're following me on social media, listeners, you will see that I've announced that today, actually, on the day that I'm recording this podcast. Denise is the foreword, the lovely lady who wrote the foreword. She is the Dragon's Den success story. And anyone from our industry will remember that episode and how fantastic she's done from that moment where she stepped through the Dragon's Den door and skyrocketed her business because of Duncan Ballantyne's support. She has franchised Razzmatazz across continents, across the UK. She's worked with Warner Brothers, Mattel, like huge things. She's done TUI, she's done incredible things. And she dared to step through that door, Jo, and she's written the foreword that says exactly that. Like, showbiz is a foundation, it's a stepping stone. Use it, move forward in life, in business, create legacy. So it's really exciting because the synergy as well, because Michael has a Razzmatazz franchise and he's one of the first co-authors. And then for Denise to, have read Michael's chapter along with the others and felt drawn to support this second edition in such an incredible way with the foreword. Again, it just all falls so beautifully into place. And each time I'm asked a question like that, or I regurgitate those feelings and thoughts, I'm just reminded like how big this is. Like it's doing what it's intended to do. And I've got some incredible supporters and co-authors, and hopefully they'll all get us to #1.
Absolutely. And I did notice that actually when I was going through working on the book, making sure everything was consistent all the way through with the first lot of authors and then the new cohort, just making sure that there was that flow there. Michael's jumped out at me and I was like, oh, Rosencrantz, wow. And it all came back to me. Obviously, I've read it. When I'm working on a book, I read it inside out and back to front. But I've done quite a few books since the first edition. So it was lovely to revisit those stories again. But also particularly Michael's, because I thought, wow, this must be great for him to be able to see that that's gone full circle. So yeah, absolutely. Very exciting.
And so pointing the questions back to you, Jo. So like you say, you've been with us this whole time. You've read all of the chapters again and again. You've read the new 4. You put it all together. Was there any moment that you thought that it was mad to do a second edition? At the time when I asked you the question, I didn't really know what a second edition kind of encompassed. I just had heard of it and felt that this was the right thing to do. So I guess 2-part question. Did you think it was the right decision? And can you explain to the listeners why it worked, why I could do the process like I've done it?
Absolutely. So, and there's a little extra thing I want to add in there as well. So, yes, I think it was a really good decision. I think it was a really sensible decision. But I also think, knowing you as I do, you did it from the heart and you did it. And you seemed not quite yourself. It was like you weren't quite there, that level of excitement that I'm used to from you. And then suddenly you nailed it and you had that idea and you were like, yes, and you were back in the room. And it was wonderful to see. So that was definitely the right decision. For us, Jo Wildsmith Publishing as an entity, obviously I've been publishing books for a very long time, but as Jo Wildsmith Publishing, that's quite new. And this was our first second edition, if that makes sense. The first time we've done a second edition. So there was a lot that I needed to learn and make sure. And before I could say to you, yeah, okay, we can do this, I made sure that I had to go. I went off and did my homework and made sure that this was something that we could deliver for you. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased we have. I've learned a lot, but I also know that it was definitely the best way forward. And it revitalizes, as I say, all of the previous stories as well. And it was so lovely reading them all again, especially as now I know some of those people. Whereas, right when I worked on the book the very first time, I didn't. They were just names. But now I know them and I've seen their photos so many times now as well. And that's really lovely. So,
well, the second edition launches on the 30th of June, and the anniversary of the book is actually the 14th of July. And I wanted to give the new co-authors their own day, and so, but we get to celebrate and shout about this twice. We get to celebrate and shout about reaching #1, fingers crossed, with everybody's help, on the 30th of June on Amazon. And then on the 14th of July, we get to bring the past co-authors and the present co-authors together to celebrate the year anniversary of the creation of the book in the first place. And you will be meeting those co-authors in person this year, Jo, because you're coming to the celebration in London. I'm so excited for you to be there in the room this year.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting because I was away and I couldn't come last year, which I was gutted about. However, I'm also going to be a little bit giddy because it'll be 4 days before my wedding. So it's going to be a bit of a crazy week, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm still coming.
Crazy week, crazy life, Jo. Me and you, we have these weeks. Listeners, if you're following me on social media, you know that I'm here, there, and everywhere. Jo is part of my Matinee Mixer crew. We love a glass of wine, watch a show, mix and mingle with everybody. Please come and join us. And it's just joyous, Jo, isn't it? The friendship that we've built as well around the book, around each other's businesses, and the wedding is coming up. Honestly, it's been such a fun process because of all of these elements, not just the book, and our friendship building throughout as well. So just very grateful for you for listening to my mad, new, uneducated second edition idea and then bringing the info the understanding and the publishing power to bring that to life. What's it been like behind the computer in terms of getting the second edition up and running? Seamless, busy, upside down? I
all
mean,
of,
people would love to know.
all of those things and more. So in some ways it was easier because obviously the volume of the new stuff that was coming in, the new content that was coming in, obviously there was significantly less of it. But it's really important to make sure that things are consistent. And because there was a gap between the first edition and the second edition, obviously, I basically had to reread the whole book again just to make sure everything was going in the right places, that we were following the same pattern with things like where we used italics and things like that too, and also making sure the tone was right all across it, because when you're dealing with people, lots of different authors, they're all using their different language, but we want it to be a pleasurable experience for the reader. So it's got to be able to be something that can be read and enjoyed as well as written and enjoyed. So yes, so it had its own challenges, but like every book we give birth to, or we help the authors give birth to, is an absolute joy, and I love bringing books into the world. It's amazing.
Well, you're very good at it, Jo, and I wouldn't do it with anybody else. Don't worry, there's not a third book in me yet. I'll let you get married first before I plonk that idea over to you. There's somebody else we should thank for the process and being on board with the second edition, and that's Simon, because he is our graphic designer and he's helped reimagine the first edition front cover to make it the second edition. And we did go through a process. Simon won't mind me speaking about this. We went for a different color. We maybe thought about a different font. We changed the front, we changed the back. But actually, listeners, if you head over to my socials, in fact, Jo's got a book behind her. Mine's missing in action right now. Oh, there it is. It's very, very subtly different. And bless Simon for sticking with me. Yeah, let's change it. No, let's not. Yeah, let's change it. No, let's not. And I'm very happy with how it's ended. It's subtly different because, again, I think when I went back to the main reason it was a second edition and not a second book, it was that not competing. I didn't necessarily want to compete a red book against a gold book, even though it was the same book. And so it felt very right to just have those little nuances that we would know it's a second edition, but anybody that was asking would not kind of say, which book are you in, the first or the second? It's just one whole project, one whole heart. And it says second edition on it, but the back is different. It's got the 4 new co-authors added to the back.
And there is a banner at the top because it's important. There are parameters there are things that you have to have. There are settings things you have to comply with when you're doing a second edition. So it was very important that we did all of those things, ticked all those boxes without making it like basically not completely the opposite or anything like that. So it works well without being just too, it's not too similar, but it's also not too out there as well. It works really well.
And again, that's your expertise, Simon's expertise, and your knowledge that's guided me in the right direction. And I think everyone listening, I'd love in a moment for you to share more about your business, Jo, because I think for anyone listening, we are in a world now where we can self-publish. Like, that is an option. People are doing that, and they're doing it well. But I hope when they listen to this conversation and they hear my enthusiasm and the creativity and the idea, and then they can hear how I've had to pass responsibility over to you and learn from you, I hope that they can hear that has made a much smoother process and a much better chance of getting the book accessible in libraries, of being able to walk into Waterstones and order the book, to become a #1 bestseller again on Amazon. I feel like it does all seem quite accessible and easy, and I'm sure people would give it a good go. But I would love people to understand how relaxed I am, how joyful the process is. And that's nothing to do with me, Jo. That's all because of you. So share with everybody what you actually do as a business so that they can consider, passing that stress to you.
Well, first of all, one thing, and I'm really grateful to hear that, because while I'm here like peddling like hell under the desk, I'm glad that you're thinking that's all calm, everything's under control. I'm like, yeah, it's good. But no, honestly, it is good. I've been doing this a long time, and generally most things, apart from this second edition, are pretty much like, yes, okay, I know exactly. But even with the second edition, where it was something new, because of the background I've got, because of the things we've encountered over the years and things that I've encountered with my own books and everything, I know which things are worth listening to, which advice is worth listening to, which things are just nonsense and just rumor and things like that. So yeah, absolutely. So what I do in a nutshell is I take it from manuscript to fully finished book. So the wonderful thing is that, and the reason that we provide this more luxury, much more curated service, is, for a start, we're taking all of the stress off the author, because that's for us to use our expertise. And I do have a team behind me, it's not just me. So for us to use all our knowledge and experience to make sure that everything is being done and being done properly. But also we have other editions, we have other versions, we do everything ranging all the way from ebook and paperback to hardback, and then we have luxury editions available too. So, and again, it's not just only on KDP. We use lots of different distributors and lots of different what's known as aggregators, which is like a mesh of lots of different distributors, to make sure that your book is going beyond the Amazon network, beyond just that one part of the world, because there's a big wide world out there. And also we want people, like shops where they don't like buying from Amazon because Amazon is this great big behemoth they see as the enemy. Then if you say to them, I want you to order my book, and they're like, I'm not going to order it because it's from Amazon, well, that's fine, because we're going through these other distributors. So this is the key, really. And also getting into libraries aren't going to want to buy from Amazon either. So yeah, it's all of that extra work, and all of there's a lot more like background things that just, we can take that stress off you, and that's what we're here for. However, I will say I have absolutely no problem at all with people self-publishing. I think, go out there, get that information, get it off my YouTube channel, but go out there, get that information, learn to do it yourself. Absolutely, I'm there for you. But if you haven't got the time, you don't want to learn, or you start trying to learn and you just find it all, then we're here. We're here, and we will do it properly, and we will make a really good go of it.
You certainly will. I'm so excited to see how good we do this for the second time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on YouTube, hello from Jo and I. You can see us there in the flesh. And if you're listening in on any of your podcast platforms, then do go pop over to social media and give Spotlight on Success a little like and some love. It's got its own Instagram channel now, and PerformerPreneur and Jo Wildsmith Publishing as well. Please do stick around for the next 10 days, because we've got 7 days till launch. We're going to need your help on the 30th of June. Please do buy the book on Kindle, paperback or hardback now. And also stick around for the few days that follow so that you can celebrate with us when we do hit that #1 spot, because it will be, ladies and gentlemen, thanks to you and your support. And also, you know, we'll have some more announcements with the other things that we are planning and keeping everything crossed for. Jo, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always, to speak with you. I will see you in a couple of days in London for our next get together. But for now, I just want to say thank you. Genuinely, thank you for being a wonderful friend, a wonderful partner in this project, and for just being a joy to work with and embracing my creativity and vision. I know I'm not the easiest person sometimes, but I love that you get on board with my ideas and you find solutions. So I really appreciate that. Thank you to Simon for the front cover, and thank you, listeners, for once again getting behind Spotlight on Success. Now it's 18 fabulous stories to help performers pivot, and keep the date in your diary.
Thank you so much. I've loved working with you. And you're not getting away from me very easily because I am determined to keep working with you. So thank you very much.
You heard it here first, people. There'll be more from Jo and I. For now, though, go have a wonderful rest of your day. And please do keep the 30th of June locked in your diary. Big love, Jo.
Bye. Thank you.
There you have it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Spotlight series, where stories shine and success gets redefined. If you loved what you heard, hit like, follow, or subscribe. And be sure to grab your copy of Spotlight on Success over on Amazon. And don't forget to tag us at PerformerPreneur across all socials. If you've been inspired today to step into a new spotlight, you can find a whole community ready to support you at performerpreneur.co.uk, as well as up-and-coming events and even more about each author. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and continue to shine.